This is the John Hallett podcast powered by ClearSky Training. If you're training with us in Castle Rock, Colorado, this is the thinking behind what we do at Rocky Mountain Self-Defense and Fitness. All right, Josh, let's get into it. Why most self-defense instructors aren't actually qualified to teach. You know, most self-defense instructors aren't bad people. You know, they want to help people. They're teaching. They have a desire to do this, but many of them shouldn't be teaching. And that's the hard truth, because when someone teaches something wrong in this space, it isn't just a waste of time. It creates false confidence. And false confidence in a violent situation is dangerous.
Well, yeah. Then why the heck do you let me teach then?
You know, sometimes you're a little bit better than you actually might think.
Thank you for the compliment.
In there,
so,
you know, and you got to start teaching.
Yeah.
You know, that's the hard thing. You can't become a good teacher unless you actually teach. So that's why I let you teach.
Yeah.
You know,
but what actually qualifies a person or someone to teach self-defense?
You know, I mean, a lot of people think, you know, it's the belt. Ooh, you're a black belt.
Yeah.
You know, you should be able to teach. You know, time served, the ability to make decisions under pressure and teach others to do the same. That's what qualifies somebody. It's not, I've got a belt.
Yeah.
I've doing this for 10 years. You know, it's the ability to make those decisions under pressure.
Yeah.
Yourself and be able to teach it to others.
Yeah, that's huge, right? Trying to convey that knowledge.
Yeah. You know, the first big lie, rank equals readiness. You know, I've had somebody say like, oh, well, one of your black belts coaching you? I'm like, not really. I mean, we all can have, it's nice to have another pair of eyes, but I'm like, no, how are they qualified to teach me at my level?
Sure.
When they're a black belt, but the student kind of felt like, but they're a black belt. I'm like, well, there's degrees of black belt. It's just that understanding, you know, just because you reached a certain belt level doesn't mean you're ready to teach, you know.
Yeah.
A belt doesn't mean you've learned, you know, a belt learn, you know, you've learned material.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It doesn't mean you understand violence. All right. You know, can you apply it under stress? And more importantly, can you teach someone else to do the same?
Yeah.
You know, they're completely different skill sets. You know, we've seen that, you know, time and time again. I always talk about Coach Thomas. Like, he wasn't a football player. He couldn't make his high school team, but he understood the game.
Sure.
Right. And he can convey the lesson, you know, because as you just said before the show, hey, that seminar we went to, that pro fighter had a terrible section of the seminar.
Sure.
Like, obviously the guy can do it.
Yeah.
But standing up in front of, you know, 10 people, let alone 50, is totally different thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of great athletes are not good coaches.
No, they're great athletes.
Yeah. I mean, the ability to switch, you know, great. It's kind of like, let's just take Tom Brady, for instance.
Sure.
He's announcing games. He's commentating, but is he out there coaching?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to forget his teammate, who is the current Patriots coach.
Oh, Vrabel.
Right.
Vrabel.
Now, he was a great player, not to Brady's standard, obviously.
He was a kicker.
No, he's not a kicker. Vrabel? He's the coach, right?
Yeah,
so we're talking about stuff we don't know now. No, the coach was like, he was like a linebacker. So he wasn't the kicker. You seen that dude?
Vrabel?
Dude, we're going to have to bring it up after this.
It's the Patriots. I don't even like him.
Did I mention I was going to spar with you today?
But he's not out there coaching because Brady's doing announcing because, you know, he's played the game, but he's not out there coaching.
You know, could he be a great coach? I don't know. You know, because he's not coaching. But you see players that, you know, are able to cross the line. You know, that's the point. Now we can't. And now I'm going to have to. I'm terrible with names, anyways. Lucky I remember who Tom Brady is, because I'm terrible with names.
It's okay.
Right. So that's a tough thing.
It
so
is.
now I'm going to spar with you after.
Are you going to hit me
in sparring?
Oh,
All right, you just want to grapple. You just want to grapple and not get hit in the face because you got a date. You have a date this weekend? You need to shave.
Okay. Move on.
All right. Doing versus teaching, right? We just, we really just kind of hit this in the show notes. Just because somebody's good doesn't mean they can coach.
Yeah.
You can be a terrible instructor. I've seen it time and time again, like great ability, and they can just not convey that. Or even sometimes, we talked about before, part of the ClearSky system, they can make the mistake of being like, well, why don't you get like, this is easy. I always say, like, a round kick isn't easy. It's going to take practice, and when somebody has to work at it, the good athlete can forget, that is tough, or even it came natural to them. Sometimes what I see a lot of times, the person that struggled with a technique is better at teaching it and conveying that to other people versus the person who's just like, yeah, I can do a round kick. Super easy.
I was watching a video of a really popular MMA fighter who said he never coaches. A guy paid him to coach. He taught him one day and quit because he goes, I'm not a coach because I can't watch people mess up. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard because he's the athlete, not the coach.
Yeah. I mean, teaching requires, breaking things down simply and not being like, this is easy. Reading students, that's a huge skill. Adjusting on the fly. A lot of, people cannot do that. Managing a class is really hard, and being able to adjust as an instructor takes a lot of practice. Understanding how people learn under stress. So many instructors just repeat what they were shown, right? They can repeat a technique, they don't actually understand it. And that's what I say to you a lot. Like, oh, I got it. And I'm like, no, you don't. You've got the basic concept, but you don't have it. And that's where a lot of people like, yeah, I got it. Like, nope. That's where, like, for me, I'm like, I think I suck and I need to train more and get better at all of this stuff. That's, a reason to come train with me, because I think I need more work, not like, yeah, this is great. I'm the best I can be.
I'm pretty sure I mastered every time you show me.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure I mastered every time you show me.
Every time I show you,
like I got
totally mastered.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
You got it in your head. I mean,
well, physically, I didn't say that. I said I got it.
I got it in my head.
I got it in my head. I'm visualizing right now.
Yeah, you go to throw a punch and you throw a half a kick.
I'm working on it.
You're getting a lot better.
I'm trying.
You get a lot of people that just collect techniques and they'll go and learn a technique. A lot of gym are like, here's a new technique, and that can be great for students. Keeps them entertained, but it's not training decision makers.
Sure.
I said in my class last night, look, we need to put time, hitting pads, whatever it is, heavy bags, whatever it is, you need to get those reps. But it's the decision when to throw that punch, because a lot of times you go throwing a punch and whoops, that was really an elbow strike where you should have been clinching and a gazillion other things in whatever system that you're training in. You walk into a lot of schools and you're just going to see technique after technique, a variation after another variation. And I hate this so much, memorization over mastery. People memorizing techniques.
Yeah,
like you're a book learner. Like, I just remember one of my instructors, like, the guy was like, it's on page 78. The instructor manual was like, I don't need a manual. This is how you do it. Like, like the book learner versus this guy, like, no, I know the technique. You're looking in a book.
Sure.
You watched a video. People try to memorize things. That's, a big part of the ClearSky system and what we do. A big part of that in our rotating curriculum was to get people to stop trying to memorize the choke series for their belt level. Because I just got people just trying to memorize a technique. They didn't know it, and they were studying for the exam.
Yeah.
And then they'd lose it. That's why we do a rotating curriculum. But that goes down, and that's, part of what we do at ClearSky Training, and all of those services from consulting to seminars to instructor training to affiliating, like the entire system package that you can drop into your school regardless of technique. Yeah, we have a lot of technique if somebody needs that help, but so much of it is just the systems. That we have in place, not because you can just drop it into any system.
Absolutely. You got me thinking though when you were talking about some of this stuff. What makes someone dangerous as an instructor? I mean,
they give students confidence they haven't earned. That's a big one. Yeah. That's, it's false confidence. We'll get into it there. But I wanted to wrap up one, thought on, technique collectors versus decision makers, technique and all that stuff and variations. It looks good. It feels productive. Students feel like I learned something, but it's missing the point. Violence doesn't give you time to pick from 27 options. It forces decisions fast and under stress. Okay. If your training doesn't build decision making, it's incomplete. That's what I see in a lot of instructor courses, and it's taken me years to get there.
So that really brings me back to my question, though. If it's just memorization stuff and they're giving them just these things to memorize, does that make them a dangerous coach then? Because you're not preparing people then for real violence?
Not really. I mean, what's the number one thing we see with, and I said, Krav Maga is our base, and but we borrow from anything. That like we really try to do that at ClearSky. I often go, so much of it is Krav Maga, but it's not Krav Maga.
Sure.
In some areas, because there's a lot of training in Krav Maga that is, that's not preparing people for real violence. They get a bunch of techniques. Well, one thing we'll just say here is they prepare the person for one thing, extreme violence. And that's great. But what about the decision beforehand? We see a lot of, all right, in my evolution as an instructor of just Krav Maga, people get too close. That's a huge one. It's the decision should have started a lot further away. And it's maybe it's a human thing, because we see it with our kids. All of a sudden, they're just letting somebody get in their space and making those mental decisions. And that's a big thing that we do at ClearSky.
That's crazy.
But false confidence, this is where things get really serious. A bad instructor doesn't just teach ineffective techniques, right? They convince people these techniques will work.
Oh my.
That's the problem.
Oh my.
Right? Because now the student believes they're prepared, stops questioning, stops improving. And when something real happens, they default to training. Under stress, you don't rise, you default. We say it all the time. And, I brought up, we haven't done it in a little bit. I brought up, an excellent movie. And sometimes I say jokingly, but half-hearted, but not jokingly. If you don't know some of these questions, you can't get to black belt. It's like the distracting back fist. We might have queued it up a little bit, but I hope it's still in there, because sometimes I reference like a distracting back fist. So without further ado, here is a great movie here. Foot Fist Way.
Simple one, shall we? Right hand block, left hand throws the distracting back fist, number one side kick, follow through with a spin crescent kick to the head. Sound easy enough?
Sir.
Okay, let's try it out. Rick, Marge, hop up.
Sir.
Okay. Marge, ready, stance?
Sir.
Okay. Rick, we're going to have you on the attack first. Throw a round kick. Block with the right, distracting back fist, number one side kick, and spin crescent kick. There we go. Boom. Got him. Got you, didn't she, Rick?
No, I was just doing what you told me to do.
That's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Think you can beat this combination? I think Marge and I know different, don't we, Marge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do this again. Marge, ready stance.
Sir.
Keep your eyes on Rick, and don't forget the distracting back fist. That's the key. Rick,
He knows
come with whatever you got. Full contact, no holds barred, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you. I don't think you're going to like how this ends, hot shot. Face your partner. Going nay. Sparring stances. C-check.
Yeah, wait for it.
She's still alive?
Such a great
This
movie.
is too much. I
Such a great
can't handle it.
So that movie has so many McDojo.
Was he a
Things
dangerous
amazing.
coach?
Obviously, Josh,
I
he
mean,
might not be alive. And in real life, like, there's going to be some serious bodily harm there.
yeah. Oh my
That-
gosh.
You're teaching somebody, and they think that's why I say, like, you're not doing self-defense unless you do sparring, even light.
Sure.
That's a huge thing,
All right. So then, what should a real instructor actually focus on?
right? Building awareness, decision making, right? Pressure tested skills, not just technique. It's that decision. We did a drill last night of just, it was mental. They weren't supposed to, throw anything. It was where somebody was approaching them and just going through. Right now, I have a front kick. Right now,
I see.
all right, I have a straight punch. Oh man, he's really close. He got a little bit faster. I need to clinch up or stay offline. I really had a parameter that your loved one was behind you, so you couldn't step offline. Like we had a brand new guy that kind of like you're defending somebody. If you step offline, I'm like, that's great. Yeah, get offline. But now they're right to your daughter, which is even great because his daughter had just tried class. I'm like, and now you're right. You just gave him full path to your daughter. Like, who do you want to get hit? Or now he sees this victim and he grabs this person.
Sure.
So, it had some structure to it that, people were obviously forgetting, and just when to make that decision. I constantly tell people, if you're thinking advancing front kick, it's probably a regular front kick. Like, because we're a step behind, like they're coming at you so many times, you can, you throw that front kick and you're jammed up. That's the danger of the front kick.
Sure.
Is you have one leg on the ground and you throw it at the wrong time. That's what, like, you can be really good at just hitting a pad with a front kick, but the decision when to throw that front kick is a whole nother thing.
Right. Different
And the
story.
drills that go behind that and how you're training it is, not just hitting a pad. Real instruction looks like, right, teaching when not to fight, building awareness before technique, putting students under controlled stress, and forcing people, all right, to problem solve, not to memorize things. It's slower, it's harder, it's less flashy, but it works. It works. And that's why they came in, for it to work, not to feel good. And that's sometimes I'm like, it's going to take you some time here. You want the answer right away, whatever it may be. It's like what I said, as we built up the class last night, I told, the guy, in his second trial class, like, look, if somebody gets you in a full rear naked choke, it's called you got run over by the car. Like, you're done. Yeah. Like, can you try? Yeah. Try, fight. But just watching the UFC, they're pro fighter. Somebody locks in a rear naked choke and you're in trouble, right? Sometimes people have a real hard understanding of different things. You're like, I should be able to escape a bear hug. And they might be bigger and stronger. And it's called, you let it get on too tight and building that awareness. I was telling you, a rear naked choke starts with, them coming around your neck, and then it's an air choke, and then it's the blood choke. But if you're caught, you're in trouble. And when people come in, they're looking for answers. And a hard truth is you might be too late. And people understand, like, you walked out into traffic.
Yeah.
You got run over. Hey, somebody sunk something in on you, and that's it. Lights are out,
So
I mean, a lot of aspects, I'd rather have them, break my arm, snap my shoulder than
pass out,
like having, go unconscious.
Sure. Oof.
All
sounds bad,
it's,
but yeah.
As we say it again and again, because in the end, your training becomes your default, right? That is huge, right? It is so huge. We see that with gun training, we see it with hand-to-hand training. Like, what you do in your training that's what's going to come out right in there. And that's what we say with gun owners. Like, you went to the gun and you weren't justified.
Sure.
And, because that's your default I'm going to the range and I'm pulling the trigger.
Gun, right. Everything is a shoot.
It's totally, different. That's just like we say, like, 10% of your training, being live fire, and the rest of it is, being the decision maker.
Sure.
Training different scenarios that you're not doing on the range.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So if you're an instructor or thinking about becoming one, ask yourself this: are you teaching techniques or are you building decision makers? Because those are not the same thing. And that gap is exactly what we built at ClearSky Training. If you want to go deeper on real world self-defense, decision-making under stress, and responsible firearms training, everything we teach lives at ClearSky Training. ClearSky is where we break down the thinking behind self-defense: awareness, avoidance, judgment, legality, and decisive action when violence can't be avoided. If you're in Castle Rock, Colorado and want hands-on training, that philosophy is put into practice at Rocky Mountain Self-Defense and Fitness. Thanks for listening to the John Hallett podcast. And as always, train more, suck less.